Hi guys, it's Sharon here from Butterfly Lullaby, and the date is the 23rd of November 2022. Today I'm going to talk about doggy anxiety and doggy trauma. This is something that is real because, it's not to do with the way you hold the lead, because my daughter and I were in the park. Our dog was on, we tied him to the bench where we were just having a sandwich. So, as soon as he saw a dog, he's like, sort of really sort of like protective, sort of giving it the growl to back off, don't come anywhere near me, leave my family alone, sort of thing. So it had nothing to do with the, with us, holding the lead and being nervous. We didn't even see this dog. Didn't even know the dog was coming up until our doggy saw it first and, sadly got upset and nervous and started barking. So I think it's really, really important that we, it's lovely to have experts, but sometimes life experience is more of an expert than the experts, if you know what I mean. So it's important to listen to real stories and just make up your own mind. Don't be told how to think. Make up your own mind on what you think and how you feel about a situation. So anyway, our poor doggy's been attacked 5 times now altogether. He's been attacked a couple of times in the park. As a puppy, we sort of got encouraged to let him off the lead, which was lovely for a bit. But then the sad thing is, there are dogs there that have, I don't know, either been attacked, so they've turned out to be like bullying and nervous or whatever, and just like went for, I don't know why they found our doggy a threat, because he was only a little puppy at the time. And when he was attacked the first time, I had to scream because I was far away. I had to scream to the people that had the other dog, get your dog off my dog, off our dog, sort of thing. And they just stood there doing nothing. It's like, what the heck? Come on. If your dog's attacking our dog, don't just let that dog do that. Do something about it. But no, they just stood there, did nothing. I just thought, wow. So I had to go in and intervene, and I wasn't happy about it. I just said, why did you just stand there and let your dog attack our dog? That is a puppy, for crying out loud. So that was the first example. And then, a few more times. And sadly, because that happened to him, he chased a little puppy, and thankfully I got hold of him. But I apologised. I was so, I thought, right, we can't let him off now if he's doing that. I don't want him to, scare a little puppy. That's out of order. We shouldn't be doing that. So we didn't let him off the lead after that. And I felt so bad for that poor lady, because no doggy should go through that experience. We just want them to enjoy their life. So anyway, and then so there's a few more cases where he'd been, sort of attacked. So we had to sort of like keep him on the lead. And then we took him for a walk in the park, and I got bitten by a dog because he was attacking our dog. And I've got this story, it's a longer story, on later on in this video. And also, my family, they've got a doggy that, he just doesn't like certain dogs, unfortunately. He's a lovely dog, and he's friendly to a lot of dogs, but for some reason he just didn't like our dog. So, he attacked our dog. I had to pick him up. So 5 times now he's been attacked. And he's seen me going to hospital, bleeding hand, in pain, having an argument with a woman because she was really arrogant. Said she was an ex-police officer, and, she wouldn't give me her full name. So, he's experienced me getting upset with people for good reason. And, so he doesn't, sometimes he doesn't like dogs, and sometimes he doesn't like, people. But then sometimes he's okay. Like, he's been to, we went to, where did we go? We had a dog sitter. She was absolutely lovely. She was so good with him. She's an actress. And she looked after him, and, he was fine. He was absolutely fine with her. Although I think he was a bit of a handful, because I don't think he slept because he was missing us. But, but she was okay with him. And then we had a family that looked after him. when we went out somewhere and they had 2 children. And he was absolutely fine with them, you know. So it's not that he's a vicious dog. He's definitely not a vicious dog. Even like my friend is partially blind. She's got a guide dog, and he gets on really well with the guide dog. And he, you know, she knows he's not a vicious dog because, you know, he's just not. He's just frightened. He's a frightened little thing. And also being, you know, COVID times as well. So we haven't had people coming round. So, you know, when we have new people coming around, he barks at them for a long time, which isn't very nice. But then he calms down, you know. He calms down eventually once they're sitting down. He calms down. So it's just going to take time, I think. Just time for him to get used to everything. Oh, he's such a lovable little thing. I used to be allergic to dogs. For 48 years, I had asthma for 48 years. I managed to cure myself with plants they call weeds. And now I'm living with a dog, not sneezing or wheezing. And he's such a lovely companion. He really is. Lovely little thing. Got to take him for a walk in a minute. He's looking at me. Yeah, so because my daughter's in college, so, you know, and her dad works away a lot. So it's so nice to have little Dewey here. Call him Dewey. Just keeping us company, and it's nice also, you know, if you feel safer in the house when you've got a dog because they bark, although sometimes the barking can sort of be a bit of a problem. So, you know, when I've mastered it a little bit now. So when he's like barking in the garden, I go in. I have to do like a sort of deep voice, like a man's voice, and he comes back eventually. Bless him. So I'm getting there, and then when he's like playful mood where he's like trying to chew my nightie or chew my clothes, it's like I have to growl at him, not in a vicious way, but I have to do like a growl to say, back off, leave me alone. And then he's like, all right, and he's okay. But you know, he follows me around the house all the time. He's like a little shadow. He's just adorable. And I know he's my daughter's dog, but it's just like, you know, because she's away now, I used to spend so much time with my daughter because I'm home educated. And she begged me to, you see, because she was badly treated in school. They did some nice things, but, you know, some of the bad teachers and children, sadly, you know, they're the ones that you sadly remember, aren't they, when you sort of go through some sort of trauma. So, you know, dogs are no different to people, are they? Let's face it. You know, the people are left with anxiety when something bad happens, and so are doggies. You know, they're the same. So anyway, I rambled on a bit here, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If you've got a doggy, I'm not going to use a slip lead. They say use a slip lead if your dog is like, you know, barking at other dogs and that. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to choke him, because I know it would choke him and it could really hurt him. And I spoke to my friend about this. She said, no, I wouldn't use a slip lead either. So there's a lot of people on the internet promoting slip leads. And I think there's actually, I come across, when I did Google search, I come across something saying how dangerous it is for a dog that, you know, that barks at other dogs. It could end up getting choked. So yeah, just I don't know, I'm not an expert. I'm just saying from my own experience, I prefer to use a harness. I know that it drags me a bit, but I prefer that. I just have to learn to walk quicker. I mean, one day I was walking down the road and this pothole was up, and I just fell flat on my face. I must have had a little angel on my shoulder because I didn't break my teeth, because I fell flat on my face and hurt myself. Luckily, I wasn't too badly hurt, but yeah. So, you know, accidents happen, don't they? But I think the thing is, you know, when bad things happen, I mean, if I was responsible for some things like, you know, a dog being hurt or, you know, a person being hurt, I would be so apologetic. And the thing about the woman in the park who said she was an ex-police officer, she wasn't apologetic. And also, I mean, I said to her, because, you know, I'm quite a reasonable person. I realised that, you know, it wasn't the dog's fault. It should have been on the lead. She didn't have him on the lead. She had no control of him. She had no callback, etc. So, and, you know, she's she should have taken him somewhere where he wasn't around other dogs, really. So I said, I'm not going to have your dog put down, but I could have done, I said, but I'm not going to. So all I'm asking you is for your full name, please. And she just refused. So, it's not as if I'm an unreasonable person. I said to the police officer, the second police officer that was really quite nice, I said, I'm not going to, have the dog put down because I don't feel it was the dog's fault. He was a puppy at the time. I could have, thank goodness he wasn't a full-grown Labrador, because crikey, I think I would have lost my fingers if he was. So good job he was a puppy, to be honest. So you have to look at the bright side of life, don't you? I love Anthony Hopkins and the way he looks at life. You ought to listen to some of his videos on YouTube. It's just so therapeutic, just listening to his calm voice and the way he thinks about life. I hate the way they made him feel in school, made him feel stupid, because he seems to, like, when I read the interviews and look at interviews he's done, he's always saying that, he's stupid and he wasn't very bright in school. And I just think, no. Auntie, look what you've done in your life. Crikey, you're one of the most amazing actors in the world. You play the piano. You're an artist. You're getting people buying your art, and you're such a great talker. I just think we've got to stop this putting people down and just promote kindness. That's what I think anyway. So I'm going to leave you. I've been rambling on now. How long have I been rambling on? For 11 minutes. Look at that. So I love people's stories. I love people's true stories. When I make videos, usually I sort of like cut where I've been stuttering a little bit, or, saying the wrong word, etc. Because I was taught ITA English Twaddle in school, which is a backward alien language that makes no sense at all, and got banned in schools for good reason by parents who said, what the heck is this? This is not normal to teach a child this, because they are going to get behind. This isn't a language they're going to use in life. So why are they doing this? Why indeed? Still looking for that apology, and I will get it one day. And others will get it as well, because there are 9 million illiterate people in the UK. 9 million adults. How many illiterate children are there because they just cannot get the education system right? See, my wording. See, I've got a stutter because of my bad education. But as Ed Sheeran says, just be proud of who you are. So I don't care. This is who I am. I stutter because of state education, but I'm going to get state education changed as a team player. I'm going to keep complaining until it gets fixed. And, they stop bullying home educators that give their children a kind, bespoke education that helps them progress in life, because they're hiding our state education success story. But one day they won't be able to hide it anymore, because it would be out there and it would be helping other children to get the education they deserve. So, yeah, I've rambled on again now for a few more minutes. I must go, because I've got to take our Dewey for a walk, and I've got to get tidied up. I need a little cleaning fairy because the house is a mess. Have you ever watched that, oh my gosh, Stepford Wives, where the lady is a writer and the house is an absolute chaos? That's what it's like here at the moment, because I've been fighting for justice for, like, oh my gosh, ever since my website got hacked. I've been fighting, writing complaint letters to the government, blogging, blah blah blah, making videos for, oh my gosh, it must be 12 years or something like that. A long time. But I think we're making progress now. I want to give this justice thing up now, and I just want to paint. I want to do fun things. I just want to go travelling and have a life and not have to worry about stuff like this. And, I just want our children to have a better future. That's what I want. So I don't know. How do you feel, guys? How do you feel about life in general and the way our world is? I mean, I'm 56, 57, I can't remember now. But, yeah, I just feel that it's changed so much. I want to make some videos about the 80s because I grew up in the 80s with the big hair and the wild makeup, etc. So I want to make some fun videos as well. So I'm going to leave you. I must go. I've got to go, guys. And I know that I hope I haven't bored you too much with my ramblings, but I've got so much to complain about and say. I love problem solving. That's what I like to do. And dyslexic thinking is now in the LinkedIn dictionary, no, LinkedIn business and the dictionary online as a positive skill, a valid skill. So I'm so excited about that because for too long our children have been suffering in the school system, made to feel they're useless, but they've really got just creative audio visual thinking minds, and they're musicians, they're artists, they're athletes, they're writers, actors, you know, they're just different people. We're just different to people that they call academics. You know, they're the sort of people that have got the sponge-like memories, that are able to absorb information, and you know, and that's why the education system has to change, because it's not a fair system, because dyslexics have poor memories, so therefore the exam system is really unfair, because you're going against people that have got sponge-like memories, where we've got really bad memories, and we have to keep, you know, going over things over and over and over again before we can actually absorb the information. But we're good at other things like problem solving. We love solving problems, so, you know, that's what I like to do. I love solving problems. The problem is the elite brick walls are so high, I'm knocking the bricks down. Boop, boop, boop. Brick by brick, trying to get some justice there. One day, guys, we will win this fight, this verbal fight. The pen is mightier than the sword. So that's all from me. I'm going to leave you with my video about the dog bite, no justice, and our story about how I got bitten in the park and there's no justice in this country, etc. And yeah, have a good week. So I'll leave you with this. Bye-bye. Hi guys, it's Sharon here from Butterfly Lullaby. The date is the 22nd of the 11th, 2022. I'm just going to share a story with you. I got bitten by a dog in the park. I think it was around April 2022 this year. And I just want you to know if anybody else had experienced the same sort of thing as me. If you have, please do leave comments below. If you know somebody, it was yourself, I'd love to hear from you. So I'm just going to share my story with you now. So basically, I was just walking in the park. Doggy was on the lead, and we're going past the rugby pitch. And usually, you know, it's locked and people can't go in there because they don't want dogs pooping on the rugby pitch for obvious reasons. So we noticed that this lady was in the rugby pitch with her dog, and we're sort of like, oh, she shouldn't really be in there. That's sort of out of bounds. Why is she in there, sort of thing? So we thought, oh well, we'll just sort of like carry on. So we carried on, walked round, and then before we knew it, this dog had actually come out because it could see our dog on the lead. And I said, you know, I was trying to be polite. She was still in the rugby pitch, far away. And I said, oh, hello, how are you, to the doggy, trying to be friendly. And before I knew it, it was prowling. I thought, uh-oh. So I turned round and he was attacking. He's basically attacking our poor little dog. And, you know, my daughter had him on the lead, round her legs, and she's trying to twist him around to get the dog away. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, you know, my daughter could get hurt, bitten on the legs, or, you know, if she bends down and puts her hand down, her hands could get really badly damaged because she plays the cello and the guitar. I didn't want anything to happen to her. And I was worried about our dog as well, because he'd been through enough. He's already been attacked a few times before that. So I didn't want anything to happen to him. So anyway, I quickly sort of grabbed the collar of this dog and I pulled him off. And as I pulled him off, his head swiped round. Before I knew it, he'd bitten me on the hand and I was bleeding and I was in a lot of pain. Anyway, this lady comes up to us and she's like, oh, it's not my dog, it's my daughter's dog. And I'm like, I couldn't believe, I was in shock. And she's like, this is a civil matter and, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, really arrogant. I said to her, look, can I have your name, please? She said, it's Margaret. I said, no, can I have your full name, please? And she's like, no. And I was like, what? What do you mean, no? Can I just have your name, please? And she's just like, no, I'm not giving you my name. I'm thinking, wow. She said, I'm ex-police. I can deal with this. It's a civil matter. And I'm thinking, what the heck is going on here? It's absolutely unbelievable, the arrogance of this woman. So I ended up saying to my daughter, just take a photo. And she said, because I couldn't do it because my hand was in agony and I couldn't sort of, do anything with my hand, to be quite honest. And my daughter didn't want to do that because she was threatening with the police. I said, call the police. I said, I'm the one that's actually been hurt here. I'm the one in agony from your dog. And she's, trying to get out of it. And then we had a witness come round. We actually knew this lady, but she could see us arguing. She could see my hand and I was in pain. But the thing is, most people don't want to get involved, so that was quite difficult. So anyway, we was arguing for quite a bit of time. A poor little dog who was so stressed out. He's been attacked enough in that park, and it's just like, oh gosh. So that was the last time he went to that park. I wasn't going to go to the hospital, to be quite honest, because I've been bitten a lot worse on my other hand. This is up in London when in my 20s, because my friend had a dog that was from a rescue centre, and the poor little doggy used to get beaten on the head. So he was a really nervy dog. So you had to stroke him very carefully, and he mustn't cover his eyes. When you're going down to stroke him, you've got to be really careful not to stroke him on the head so he can't see. He's got to be stroking him on the back or, whatever. And I was going to an interview, and I just forgot, that I shouldn't stroke him that way on his head because he thinks you're going to hit him. So, of course, I got bit. So there I was, bleeding and having to go to an interview, of all things. I got the job, by the way. And then I went to the hospital. I had stitches, a tetanus, and I came home. So, with this one, which wasn't as bad as that one, I had to go into hospital for 2 days. And I had to have an operation. They had to cut my hand open, it was near my fingers, check for nerve damage, clean it out, etc., stitches. And the lady in the operating theatre, she had some sort of disability. So she had a special dog that costs a lot of money, like a guide dog sort of thing, but for something else, some other health reason, she had this dog. So it's a really expensive dog. So she doesn't like dogs that are off the lead. And it really annoys her because if her dog got attacked, etc., that could cost her a lot of money to, have that dog go to the vet, or, it's just like, no, just keep your dog on the lead, keep your dog away from my dog, thank you very much. So she was very supportive of me and said that, you've got to take this further, basically. So, my daughter reported it. Nothing was done. I was told that they couldn't track her mobile number because I got a mobile number off her, even though I didn't get her full name. And she'd messaged me that night actually before I went into hospital. Actually, I was in hospital when she messaged me, I think. And then when I told her I was in hospital, I didn't hear anything more from her. She completely disappeared off the planet of the Earth, so what happened next? So, I was in hospital for 2 nights and nothing happened with the police. They said they couldn't track her number. And, then I was told, because I complained to the chief of police, they said, well, actually, we can track her number, but it's going to take 6 months. And I thought, 6 months, crikey. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Have you experienced the same sort of thing? I mean, if you're an ex-police officer, does it really take 6 months to track a number? You know, I'd love to hear from people to find out what the situation is. So my daughter did a little sketch of Margaret. I know I'm not going to get any justice because we know the dog locally that was just, they were just walking down the road. Lovely dog. My dog loves this dog. She knew him as a puppy. Great big beautiful dog, and really lovable, and such a cuddly little thing. You know, wouldn't hurt a fly. But a dog attacked him around the neck, and you know, the owner had to try and drag this dog off him because the other dog's owner's son just stood there and didn't do anything. You know, you get that a lot, don't you, sometimes? So, yeah, his poor dog, he had to have stitches, and traumatised, absolutely traumatised, like our dog is, you know. But, I mean, going through that must be really traumatic, having to have stitches. And my friend's dog has had stitches, has been attacked, actually, as well. My other friend in America, so she's been wounded by trying to get the dogs. 2 dogs attacked her dog, so she's really in agony, and her thumb hurts and her hand hurts from trying to get the dogs off her dog, and her dog's had stitches, so, and her dog's traumatised. So people that say that your dog is not traumatised when it goes through something like that, that's not right. They are. I even know my friend whose dog got attacked and shook when it was a puppy. That dog's 17 years old now, and it hates dogs. That dog hates dogs. So, you know, and, you know, we know our dogs, don't we? So when you're told, oh no, you can sort this out, it's really quite frustrating. It's just like, yeah, whatever, you know. And also a slip lead. I'm not going to use a slip lead on our dog because it can choke your dog, and I don't want that. So we're just going to keep with the harness. Just keep out of the park and just go around places where, you know, hopefully there are no dogs. I mean, he barks at dogs across the road because he's so nervous. Because, I mean, you know, can you imagine for him, he's seen his human attacked, and then, you know, the woman being really aggressive and unhelpful and rude. So he doesn't like some people, and he doesn't like some dogs. So, you know, it's just the way it is. But he's not a vicious dog. He's, you know, he's a lovable little thing. He's just traumatised, poor little thing. You know, he's been left with anxiety issues because of being attacked so much. You know, he's been attacked 4 times. And then me going to hospital hasn't helped, you know, with that. That was very traumatic. And then also, you know, we went down to see our family, and my family's dog attacked him, so I had to pick him up. So that scared him as well. So, you know, so if you come across a dog that's sort of barking and growling, just, you know, have a bit of empathy, because that dog is, you know, something's happened to that poor dog that's made him traumatised, which isn't the fault of the owner. But, you know, something's happened in the park or whatever, you know, you just don't know, do you? So, yeah, just have an open mind. So, anyway, going to education now. I've been trying to help my daughter raise money for her art and music education because she deserves it, you know. She went through a tough time in school, and that's another story. But it's really difficult to get support in the UK for this sort of thing. I mean, we have had some support, thankfully, but trying to raise money for education, you'd think that, you know, you'd get support within the government services for that, but it's really, really hard. And the thing that really irritates me is that, you know, the school system failed my daughter, and there's no apology or compensation for, you know, young people that are failed by the school system. Why is that? There should be, shouldn't there? And especially when you live in a country where, you know, universities are promoting really toxic, dangerous jobs that are immoral, and, you know, it's unbelievable what they're promoting actually at some universities. So they're doing this, yeah. You know, I've got a nice counsellor in a town, and he said that I could put this poster up in the park to help my daughter raise money for her education. He's helped her, you know. He also, what was the word? He funded her to teach children art in 2019, and the church was really kind and gave her a free room. And also, you know, he sort of like encouraged her to sing in the park this year. So I do have a really nice counsellor who supports home education, etc. But the main council, Swansea Council, is not so nice. They said no to the poster going up in the park. And my argument is, if you can allow this dangerous job in universities to be promoted, why can't you allow our young people to, you know, help them get funding for their education, to keep them safe and away from those dangerous jobs, and just to help them, you know, raise money for their education and not get in debt? Why is the support not there? And the strange thing is that I actually know a Senko teacher that blew the whistle on bullying in a school, and she's a really lovely, kind lady. She helps young people get an arts award when they've been failed by the school system. So, yeah, and she's also worked in another council that is not doing their job. She tried to get funding for children and young people that have been failed by the school system, you know, but no, they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to allow her to get the funding, and they put the wrong email address down for her on this council website, Gassignan Council. Not good at all, not good at all. And she was bullied out. But she is such an amazing person, because she's helped my daughter. She took her to a college for free. You know, she didn't charge petrol money. She took us twice. And also she took her to a art gallery for free, got a lunch and got a pad, and just encouraged her art. She's also paid for a DBS check so she can teach to raise money for her education. Not that my daughter's got time to do that sort of thing now, because she seems to be studying like every night and weekends, etc. She doesn't seem to have any free time at all. She's got to travel 3 hours to get to the college, which is a shame, because she could, you know, she's not able to sort of like do her music that much now, which is really important as well, because, you know, it's the whole point of home education, is so that she got a bespoke education. But hopefully things will work out, and yeah, I'm sure they will. But we're really lucky, because the Dork Diaries author Rachel Winnie Russell really supported Melody and sent her a beautiful book and a letter supporting home education, which of course the library wasn't allowed to promote, because they're not allowed to promote home education as a good thing, even though we're a really amazing success story. So there's so many elite brick walls going on in this country, isn't there, that just prevents justice. It just seems so wrong. So anyway, if you guys would love to support my daughter, I'd so appreciate it. Even if you just share the link to the competition. It ends on the 1st of December 2022 this year. So, and the tickets are £2 each. But if you can't afford it, I know things are tough. But if you just share this with family, friends, even if it's privately, we'd so appreciate it, because, you know, our young people deserve support. And what I hope to do is actually find a way to get support for funding young people to study and go on to further studies without getting them in debt, and especially the working class people, they need support. There's a film actually on YouTube. I might see if I can put it onto my blog, but it's Michael Sheen saying about levelling out the playing field, because, you know, when he was an actor, when he was young rather, he had two people that, so he knew that he could make it, because two people from Port Talbot became famous actors. One was Richard Burton and the other was Anthony Hopkins. So all three of those amazing Welsh actors come from Wales and the same area. Isn't that, it's just unbelievable, isn't it? So yeah, that's a really fantastic story that you need to listen to. I'll see if I can add it to my links in the description. So yeah, I think we need to do more for our kids. I really do. I write letters of complaint all the time to, you know, my MP, and sadly, I mean, she's done some nice things for me, but she can't, she's got, even though she's an ex-teacher, for some reason she's not allowed to help me on my complaint for education or my complaint for the councils, and I just find that bizarre. I mean, I think that we need to know what an MP's role is and change it so that it can be more worthwhile, so we can actually get things solved rather than it get fobbed off. Because trying to get a letter to the head of education, Jeremy Miles, I mean, I got a letter today, or just yesterday actually, via email, but you can't talk directly to these people. It's as if, I don't know, it's as if they're like gods, or they think they're gods. They're not gods. There's only one God. And I'm not religious, but I do believe in a God, and I believe in kindness, and, you know, I think that's really important to support that. So I believe in the God of kindness. That's what I believe in. And yeah, if only we could have a kindness qualification in education and government services, then I think we would get some justice. So I've blabbered on for a long time. 20 minutes, blinking heck. So I'll go now. I shall leave you in peace, and I shall go now. I've had my moan, my whinge. So yeah, do share any stories. I think sharing stories is so important, because people can relate to them. If something like this has happened to them, they can relate to them. And, you know, by sharing stories, you can also fix problems by sharing stories, because you go, oh, well, if you didn't know that information, actually somebody shared that information, so you know what's actually going on. So I shall leave you in peace now. Have a wonderful week. I know I will. And I'll speak to you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.